So I've made over $1 million from this very YouTube channel that you're watching, and I only have around 58,000 subscribers at the time of recording this. And the craziest thing is I started selling information and building a 15K per month business with only 5,000 subscribers on this very YouTube channel. Here's the craziest thing. I've never really gone viral. I've never relied on going viral. I don't rely on sponsorship deals, brand deals, AdSense, or anything of that sort. Yet I'm able to consistently make 10, 20, 30, 50, sometimes even up to 90 grand, almost 100 grand in a single month with this very YouTube channel, despite it only getting maybe 500 to maybe 2,500, sometimes 4,000 views on a very good day. And if I was going back and I had to start again by building a business from scratch, and I had to do that within 1 to 2 years, and I only could focus on one singular platform, I would be going all in on YouTube content, long form content on YouTube specifically. So here's the how I would build a 10K per month business YouTube edition. So make sure you stay until the end. So I'm going to be breaking down exactly what you need to do step by step to build a 10K per month business or even a 20K per month business with YouTube step by step. And if you want a more in-depth breakdown on how I was able to use this very YouTube channel back when it had only 5,000 subscribers to build a 15K per month business, all you got to do is click the link below. I've just put out a brand new free training. It comes with 2 bonus resources just for staying until the end. So make sure you go and watch that because that's the most in-depth video I've created on YouTube in my entire life, quite literally. It includes all my funnels, all the actual selling process, how to create the videos, why they work, all that good stuff. So make sure you go and watch that. Now let's jump straight into this. Now, first of all, if I was starting again and I was building a 10K per month business, right? I would be focusing on one platform, one funnel, one audience, one problem, one niche. And the way how I would do that, and if I had to pick one platform, it would be to focus on YouTube for 2 to 3 years. If I could only focus, let's say you had a gun to my head and you was like, Montel, what platform would you be sticking to religiously for the next 2 to 3 years? And I was starting from scratch, I would honestly pick YouTube. And let me explain why. There's a couple of reasons as to why. If you haven't watched a previous video, I highly recommend go watching the previous video as to why specifically it's YouTube that I would stick to. But in this video, I want to basically break down how you can build a 10K per month business. And by the way, here's just some proof on the screen. There's been months because of YouTube where I've hit like 70,000 pounds in 1 month and then 50,000 pounds the previous month. That's 120,000 pounds in like 60 days flat. There's a 25K payout. Here's one of my actual bank accounts at the bottom right here. As you can see, literally just like 110 grand going into my account. And yes, that's actually a real payment. You can see 25K has been sent to your Starling account. There's my literal Starling account a couple days later. As you can see, that was on Monday, 2 to 3 days. You do the maths. You can see that it actually went into my account. Here's an 11K. Let's say this is in USD, 11K USD day. The day before that, 10K. The day before that was 1.5K. The day before that was, that's probably about 2K USD, 2K, another 2K USD, another 700 pounds going in there. So another K, another 1.2K on Monday. So Monday, 1.9K. It's insane stuff, guys. So please listen to what I'm about to say in this video. So I'm going to be breaking all of this down for you. So why YouTube? Watch the previous video as to why specifically YouTube I'd be focusing on. But let's jump into this. Number one, we need to understand that we are going through a very weird time right now. We are actually going through what I like to call a trust recession, or what's called a trust recession. And I read a quote the other day, right? And it said, wait until people find out that running an online business is like 95% marketing. They're going to be screwed. I was reading a book. I believe it was actually last night or the night before, actually. And it basically was stating that like most people think that running a business is like creating an offer and creating a cool website and all this crazy stuff, creating a nice logo and all that crazy stuff. And then what they fail to realize is that when you run an online business, you are now a marketer, whether you like it or not. 95% of your success and 95% of your business is going to come down to just marketing. It's just marketing. Now let's talk about this trust recession. And I want you to keep this in mind as we go along. Trust is at an all-time low, guys. People don't trust nobody anymore. And as you can see, yes, customer trust in online businesses seems to be decreasing, with many people expressing concerns about fake reviews, data breaches, scams, all this crazy stuff. There's a 2023 study done, basically, And there's a lot of people basically scared of extortionate prices, people using fake testimonials, people scamming. This has been around for a long time, but it's got to a point where it's like people are just so done with online gurus that like and online businesses in general, not just like e-commerce brands as well, guys. Like genuinely like people that are selling physical products online. They're all-time low. So here's what I've noticed, guys. Nobody really likes or trusts paid advertising or outreach anymore. If you've ever seen people run ads, I want you to go below into the comment section on like Instagram. Let's say you see an Instagram ad. Go to the comment section on that particular ad. I bet you any money you've got people saying like, nice try, Diddy, nice try, Diddy. There's like a nice try, Diddy epidemic going on. And these methods are becoming less and less effective, and thus they are becoming more time consuming. So you got to do more outreach. You got to run more ads to get the same results as like 3, 4, 5 years ago. And because of that, it's becoming more expensive. More outreach you do, the more team members you need. The more time you need, the more expensive it's going to be. The more ads you run, obviously the more expensive it's going to be. Duh. And here's what I've noticed. People only buy from people they know, like, and trust. The KLT factor. And Dale Carnegie said this a very long time ago. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. And I'm here to tell you that the best way to get somebody to know you, like you, and trust you is to demonstrate that you know what you're talking about online. Obviously, online is just a way to deliver that message. But you've got to show demonstrable skills, demonstrable knowledge that you can actually demonstrate in front of people that you actually know what you're talking about. Because everybody and their uncle, thanks to people like Alex Hormozi, has been creating short form content. Like, here's the 5 tips, the 5 big business mistakes you're doing, or here's the 5 things that you need to stop in order to do this thing. Like, everybody's coming up with these short form pieces of content. And what I've noticed with short form content is it's cool if you're going to lead people to longer form content, but on its own, here's what I've noticed with short form content. It doesn't establish a deep enough connection, or it doesn't last long enough for you to go into a topic in depth enough to show that you have deep expertise in that field. So for example, let's say I'm teaching how to get a client on with SMA and using Upwork. A 10-minute long YouTube video is going to do much more. It's going to be much more beneficial to the viewer than a 1-minute long reel will be. And even Google has a study, right? And I always mention this in my videos. I've been mentioning this for quite a while now. There's a study called the 7-11-4 rule. Basically, Google has done the maths. They did the maths was mathing basically. And they basically found that it takes a prospect on average around 7 hours of them consuming your content before they make a purchasing decision, which means you have to play a game of knockdown 7. I call this the game of 7, or the game of knockdown 7. What that basically means is you need to take somebody through your content for at least 7 hours before they think, you know what, this Montel guy, or whatever your name is, I like what he's talking about. He's given me some epiphany moments. I can see what he's talking about. This makes logical sense. I like his personality. I like his character type. I like his teaching style. Let me go buy from this guy. With reels, shorts, short form content, TikToks, whatever you want to call them, because they're like 30 to 60 seconds long, you would literally need about 840 of them. Let's say they're 30 seconds long, right? If you do the maths, 7 hours is 420 minutes of time. Insane, right? So to get somebody to watch a reel that's 1 minute long, you would need 420 reels to hit that 7 hour mark. Because again, all we're doing is we're knocking down this 7 hours over time. This is how people actually buy in 2025. This is what happens. It's more of an ecosystem. Somebody will see you on Instagram, see an ad, then they'll probably click to see your profile. Then if you've got a YouTube channel, which you should do, hopefully they'll click onto your YouTube channel, then they'll start watching your content on there. Then they'll go back and maybe read an email, watch your VSL, sign up, get an email. So Google has found that it takes 7 hours of content being watched. You need to be interacting with them over 11 different touch points. That could be emails, posts, short form content, YouTube videos, and you need to be able to do that in 4 different platforms. That could be a YouTube channel, that's one platform. That could be your VSL, that's another platform on your actual website. It could be through your email, and then maybe you send them a DM or whatever it is because they opted in to watch your VSL, and that's 4 platforms. You've got 11 touch points in each over 4 platforms, and they've consumed 7 hours, you're going to get a customer. And this is all I've ever done and what I would focus on for growing a 10K per month business. And let me show you the actual number 1 mistake you're making right now, because I made this mistake and everybody else I know makes this mistake. This is the big mistake that 99% of entrepreneurs make, and I can guarantee you've made this mistake 110%, right? Here's what most entrepreneurs do. They spend months building a product/offer and making it stupidly perfect. They obsess about making it perfect. They go into crazy depths, stressing about how to make this the world's best offer / best product / best service they can possibly create, right? They go into all this detail, ironing it out, make sure that they've got this perfect thing. They're worried about things that don't even need to be worried about, like, oh, what am I going to do for tax? And, oh, should I register my business? This is not legal advice in any way, shape, or form. But they're worrying about things that don't even crop up until like a year, 2 years down the line. Like literally over in the UK, you can literally start a business. This is not legal advice, right? This is not legal advice. Go seek a professional. But you've got like a year and a half to pay your first tax bill. Like quite literally, you got a year, and you've got a year of doing business, and then you can worry about your tax, and then you've got another 6 months to actually do the actual books and then pay. And then you can ask for an extension as well on top of that. You know, wink, wink. Don't tell anybody I told you that. But you can actually ask if you've got actual the right excuse as to why. But I don't recommend it. Long story short though, they spend days or weeks coming up with the perfect name. They spend a bunch of time, right, designing a logo and a name, right, building a fancy ass website, getting their hopes up every step of the way. Then they release their website because you've got this amazing product, this amazing offer. They've spent months building it. They spent a lot of money putting together this fancy website. The branding's on point. The website's got like all these animations and all these, like, when you scroll down the page, it like zooms in on the left, zooms in on the right, and like all these animations pop up. It's like Apple's website, right? They released the website hoping to get clients and customers and product sales or info product sales or whatever it is, and boom, nothing happens. And the reason why nothing happens is because you're like this. It's like you've opened your business. This is literally what you look like. This is exactly what you look like, right? When you do this shit. You spend months building a business, coming up with a perfect name, offer, all this sort of stuff, the deliverables, thinking about all this stuff, thinking about how you're going to, make the best service possible. Don't get me wrong, you need a good service, obviously. But then what happens is you release this thinking that if I build it, people will come. That's the biggest myth in business. It makes you look like this. You opening up, imagine you open up the world's greatest business, right? It could be an iPhone times 10. iPhone is a very good product, by the way. Apple has got I think it's like majority of the market share is obviously, the majority of the market share is going to Apple iPhone, right? So you could create an iPhone killer that literally shits on the iPhone. But if nobody knows about it, you're going to make zero money. And this is what it's like when you sit there and create this amazing, amazing product, right? And nobody knows about you. And nothing happens. Nobody buys. Here's why. Because nobody knows you, likes you, or trusts you. Nobody besides your mom literally knows you exist. Nobody, and if they do know you exist, they don't really like you, trust you, or know you enough to do business with you. You're a complete stranger on the internet trying to sell stuff to people. I see this all the time with agency owners, online coaches, even people with info products, right? They go and create this info product, this coaching service, this agency service. And then what they do is they try to go up to random strangers like, hey, can we get on a call, blah, 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 blah. I looked at your website and this thing's wrong with it. Let me sell your website. And it's like you're a complete stranger going up to other people on the internet trying to sell your shit to them. And then here's the craziest thing that I can't understand because it's so ironic. Then you go onto the internet and people start claiming, right, that they hate these shady online course sellers or online gurus or online sellers, right? Yet you're literally the shadiest online seller there is. Think about it. You've got zero brand. At least they've got a brand. They've got proof. You don't. They've got an audience they've spent years building and people trusting them. You don't. You've got zero client testimonials or reviews. They do. And then you have the cheek to expect sales. And then on top of that, you have even more cheek to call other people salesy or fake or guru-y, thinking that you have the moral high ground when you're literally the shadiest of the shadiest online sellers right now. When you first start, you're shady as hell. Think about it. You've got zero reviews. You've got zero brand. You've got zero proof, zero audience, zero nothing. Yet you're expecting sales to come through. And then you're calling all these other people that are getting $1 million months, right? Because they've built an audience and done it the right way. You're calling them the fake guru. Yet you're the one that doesn't even have any single review. Like, how crazy is that? So we need to fix this. So let me break down how we can actually fix this. So here's the actual solution, right? And I want to ask you a question just real quick. Who would you rather be? Who would you rather be in this situation, right? Would you rather be person A or person 2? Or person 1 or person 2, should I say? Person 1, so who would you rather be? Person 1, he has the world's greatest offer and greatest business, but he has zero people to sell to. And obviously, we're just going to factor in that he's got zero money to spend on ads, because obviously, if you got $1,000 a day to spend on ads, then it changes things, obviously. But let's pretend we're starting from zero and trying to get to scale to 10K. Who would you rather be? The person who has the greatest offer, who's read Alex Hormozi's $100 million offer, and you've got this amazing offer, but you've got zero people to sell to, and you've got no money for ads. Or would you rather be person 2 who has an audience of 1,000 people that are ready to buy anything that you freaking put out, but you've also got no money for ads? Well, obviously the answer is person 2, because what you're basically going to look like is this. It's this versus this. I would much rather you be this guy over here. And this is a crowd of 1,000 people, by the way. Imagine you're on the stage here. You're on the stage here, and all these people are lined up waiting for you to put out an offer. So I would rather you have an audience of 1,000 people ready to buy something that you have, but you've got zero business. You see what I'm trying to say? Like, this person has a business and has an offer, but no audience. This person has an audience, but no business. You are infinitely better off being this particular person. Let me explain why. I would rather you be the guy that has 1,000 true fans and no business / offer than the guy that has the best offer in the world but has zero people to sell to, because you're gonna be infinitely better off. Let me explain why. The former person, so the person who has 1,000 true fans, is always going to make the most money, because person 2, this person, which is, I should have probably made it more clear, but basically the person with the audience is always going to make the most money. Person 2 can literally ask his audience what they want. They will tell him. He can then go and create that particular product or offer or service, and he will have 10 sales a month minimum lined up for the next 100 months. That's 10 customers per month for the next 100 months. And he could sell that for $1,000. That's 10 grand a month. 10 grand a month for the next 100 months. You see what I'm trying to say? Whereas person 1, and this is where everybody goes wrong. This is what you do. This is what I did. This is what everybody does. Person 1 has to now resort to spending thousands on ads. You either do that, or you send thousands of crappy cold outreach messages like everybody else on Instagram, on X, if you can even do that on X, LinkedIn, emails, cold calls, and you're just sounding like everybody else, stuck in the cold DMs, stuck in the DMs, basically, sending out cold outreach messages. And you've got literally nothing to differentiate yourself with, because everybody's read friggin' $100 million offers by Alex Hormozi. So you all sound the same. This is what you are. You're person 1 right now. Think about it. You've got an offer. You've got an idea of what you could offer. And if you don't, do you know how easy it is to write a killer offer? I can show you how to write an offer in 2 minutes. Watch this. It takes me 2 minutes to write this. 30 seconds to write this. Watch how crazy this is. And I can guarantee you've heard this so many times. I'll guarantee you 10 clients in the next, or sales, in the next 30 days, or you don't pay, and I wire you $1,000 for wasting your time. Do you know how long it took me to type that out? The point is this. Anybody can go and type this out and put this as their headline on a website. I'll guarantee you 10 high ticket clients in 30 days or less. And if we don't get you them, you don't pay, and I refund you, and I'll also wire you $1,000 on top for wasting your time. Do you see how easy it is to create an offer? The offer's not the hard bit. Anybody can copy this right now. Anybody can copy this, go to a friggin' website and paste it on ClickFunnels. Or Go High Level, and there you've got your website headline. It takes 2 minutes to do that. But here's what they don't tell you. Here's what the gurus don't tell you, right? Person 2 that has the audience, right? Because he's got an audience to actually sell to before he even builds a business or even comes up with an offer. First of all, he can ask his audience what they want. They will tell him, and then he can go and build that thing. Then he can go and sell that thing before it's even built. Then what he can do is improve and iterate upon the negative criticism or the positive criticism or the feedback that he gets off of that particular product or service that he's selling. And then he can iterate and make it so much more better than person 1 ever could by the time they even get their first free clients or customers. Don't forget, person 1's got to do all this. Just so you know, by doing this, it took me 17 months to get my first client when it came to running an agency. I should have friggin' started with YouTube and posting content about content creation, ads, and that sort, and just stuff that I was learning to get clients for my agency. I wish I did that instead for 17 months instead of doing this foolishness here. I would have been way better off. Way better off. In fact, if you go back on this channel, I actually have videos of me explaining for real estate agents how to run ads for real estate agents. I've left them up on my channel, and that brought more interest and more calls than like cold outreach ever did. Cold outreach sucked. Cold outreach absolutely sucked because people are all-time low in terms of trust. So again, here's what they don't tell you. Person 2 that has the audience, he has an audience and can improve his offer. So here's what's going to happen. So by the time 10 people have actually gone through person 2's like products, because again, he already has people lined up at the door ready to buy whatever it is that he puts out. So he sells that to 10 people. Now that 10 people have given him feedback and testimonials or whatever it is, right? So now he can go back to the drawing board and be like, okay, well, 6 people have said that this thing sucks about my product. Well, I go and fix that, and now I'm starting to make a better product. He can do this over and over and over again and improve his product to the point where he's going to outperform person one that started with a perfect product, because you never start with a perfect product anyway. But the craziest thing is that person one will be so behind, it won't even be funny. And the reason for that is because, again, person two is getting real world feedback, and he's able to use that feedback to improve his product over time because he's actually got fucking customers. You know what I mean? So he who has the best marketing and the highest quality audience wins in this game. It's so true. It's absolutely so true. I bet you any money right now that you watching this or somebody watching this has a better offer than most of these gurus online that are selling whatever it is. I bet you genuinely do have a better offer than them, but you're hundreds of times less rich than them, poorer than them, because you simply have no audience to sell to. Why do you think huge businesses, for example, are willing to pay influencers literally millions of dollars, sometimes hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions, to promote their products? I forgot how much Kylie Jenner gets paid per one post, but because she has such a loyal following, she's able to sell like an Instagram post for like 300 grand or something like that. I forgot what the actual number was, but I'm sure it was like 300 grand. Like Kylie Jenner can literally post something and get for a business and get paid 300 grand for it. Something crazy like that. Even these big businesses, these big corporate businesses know that the money's in the audience, which is why they're willing to spend millions on this sort of stuff. And why do you think Mr. Beast is on track to become a billionaire with his, Feastables and his products and stuff like that? And why do you think Conor McGregor made more money outside of the UFC than he actually did when he was, fine? And the answer is audience. Like literally, Conor McGregor came out with I believe it was a whiskey brand, right? And he made way more money in the first year of his whiskey brand, I believe it was. So I think he sold it or whatever it was. He made way more money with his whiskey brand than he ever did for his entire career of fighting in the UFC. And the reason for that is because he built an audience and then put a product out in front of his audience. And his audience went and bought. So I would much rather you be this guy who has no business, but you have an audience lined up, than this guy that has a business already up and running and established, an offer already established, but no audience. I'd rather you be this guy. So be this guy over here. Trust me, that's how I was able to do it. So let me show you what to do instead. Number one, you're going to stop building businesses and offers, and you're going to build a damn audience. I don't care if you're scared. I don't care if you don't want to be on camera. If you don't want to be on camera, don't start an online business. If you don't want to be on camera, don't start an online business. Genuinely, just don't start an online business. Either that or have $1,000 per day to spend on ads. Okay, that's your two choices. Your two choices is don't start an online business if you don't want to be on camera, or you can have $1,000. You need about $1,000 a day. About $500 to $1,000 a day, $500 to $1,000 a day to spend on ads. I mean, you can get away with trying to do faceless stuff, but I wouldn't bet on it, if I'm being honest with you. Now, and like I said, I can guarantee that there's someone watching this right now that has a better offer than most people in their niche. And this happens all the time. I always think to myself, like, why is this person absolutely killing it with this particular offer? And I already know my offer's better than theirs. And I realize, it's because they have a much warmer audience than I do. They might not have a bigger audience, but their audience might be warmer than mine. And the unit economics works out because they're charging, higher ticket and whatnot. And build it and they will come is a load of horseshit. Do not build a business thinking that, I've got a nice brand, I've got a nice guarantee on my website. You know what's going to happen when you do that? This is what's going to happen. I'll tell you what's going to happen. You're going to create an agency. You're going to create a coaching offer. You're going to create a digital product, right? You're going to have this beautiful value statement or this beautiful guarantee such as like, I'm going to help you achieve this thing in X amount of days. And if we don't get it, you don't pay, and we're going to give you a refund, and I'm going to sell you my kidney. I'll just give it you for free. And I'm going to give you $10,000 on top of that. And guess what's going to happen to your website? You're going to get 0 clicks on it, because when you start realizing that all online business is 95% marketing, you're going to be like, shit, I'm now going to have to become a marketer. Becoming a marketer these days just means building an audience. And this is how I did it. I built an audience on YouTube for 3 years, right? And then I dropped agency transmutation, which made me 107 grand in the first 7 months flat. And all I did was build the thing that people literally told me they wanted. And it went on to make over $500,000, pretty much on autopilot. No client work. It was insane. So the way how I did it was I dropped YouTube videos around the things that I was interested in. So that was, doing Upwork outreach on Upwork and doing Upwork outreach on Upwork. That sounded weird. Upwork outreach to build my agency, talking about agency stuff, how I'm going wrong, what's going right, just documenting my life for literally like 3 years. Didn't even try to sell anything. And then boom, people started asking me, Montel, do you do coaching on this? Do you do coaching on this? Do you do coaching on this? I said, I'm not really one of those dudes, to be honest with you. Okay, let me try coach somebody. Boom, start getting people results. One person after another person, after another person, after another person. Then I realized, hey, actually, I could systematize this because it's getting a bit boring saying the same things over and over and over and over again, just to different people. And that was the birth of agency traumatization. So what you want to do is you want to build an audience. These are the actual steps. These are the actual steps. Let me zoom in on this for you guys. These are the actual steps. Don't build a business, build an audience first. I'll tell you why. When you build a business first, you spend all this time building something you think is going to work. And then you put it out there and it doesn't work, it flops. Whereas if you build the audience first, your audience will then start asking you. It'll be subtle at first. They'll start asking you stuff like, oh, how did you do this? Or how can I do that? Or how do I do this? I just got off a call with somebody, literally, that enrolled into YouTube Transmutation, which teaches you how to use your YouTube channel to build your business, right? Use YouTube to generate sales on autopilot, sales calls on autopilot. When it works for agency owners, works for coaches, people selling info products, that good stuff, right? She came on board, she came onto the call, and she said, what I really resonate with you, Montel, is you did the exact same thing that I was able to do to get my first 10 grand in sales for my digital product. And I said, what did you do? And then she said that she posted a bunch of content on, she posted a bunch of content on Threads, right? So shout out to you if she's watching this. Wonderful person, by the way. She posted a bunch of content on Threads. And then she started getting people DMing her or messaging her. I believe it was Threads or Instagram Reels, something like that. She just posted a bunch of content basically on social media. And she started getting DMs from people saying, hey, how can you do this? How can I do this? How have you been able to do this? And the thing she was originally posting about wasn't actually the thing that people wanted. So she was posting and she built an audience on Threads by using quotes. But it wasn't the quotes that people were worried or asking about. It was, how did she build an audience on Threads? So then she was like, oh, wait, let me just see if I can put together some sort of PDF and sell it. So she put together a PDF guide and sold it and made 10 grand from it. So she built an audience. She listened to what people wanted by talking to them. You can do this, by the way, on like actual sales calls, polls, people just DMing you or you DMing them. And you can ask your audience what they want. For example, you can literally post on your Instagram story right now if you've got a little bit of an audience. I'm thinking about building XYZ and releasing it on this date and it's going to be this much. Would you be interested in purchasing this? Yes or no? Just like that, you've figured out if your audience wants something from you. And then what you do is if enough people say yes, you then sell the thing. You sell that thing before it's built. You say, hey, I'm going to give you a special discount because I'm going to build this thing, the thing that you said you wanted. I'm going to give it you for 50% off if you enroll right now. And then when it's out, you don't have to pay the full price. Here's a link if you want to purchase it. And boom, just like that, you start getting your first sales. Then what you do is then you build the thing, whether that's a service, whether that's your coaching program, whether that's your info product, but you build, or aka digital product, but you build the thing knowing that you're building something that people actually want and it's actually validated. So it's actually validated before you've built the thing. And I always say this, give Susie what Susie wants for lunch. This is what I mean by giving Susie what Susie wants for lunch. You literally, you listen to your audience. You listen and wait. Post content like I did, and people start asking you, Montel, can you teach me this thing? Can you teach me this thing? Can you teach me that thing? How did you do this? How did you do that? How did you do this? Enough people start asking you that question, you're going to start thinking, wait a minute, there's an opportunity here. And then you go and see, okay, well, I'm thinking about coming up with this. Do you want to buy it? It's $500. It's half price. It's $200. It's $100. It's $50. Try get some test sales coming in. Next thing you know, you got 4 or 5 sales coming in from people, and then you go and build that thing, knowing full well that people already want the thing because they bought it before it was built. It's literally that simple as well. And Innocent Smoothies, yes, the actual Innocent Smoothie brand, did the exact same thing. Now, in the next video, I'm going to be breaking down this exact funnel, and this is the same funnel that made me like 25K in one day. It's like 32 grand in a day, 70 grand in a month, 50 grand the previous month. This funnel right here, everything I've ever done comes to this funnel. It's like 2 to 3 YouTube videos a week to a simple landing page where they opt in to a free training and you incentivize them with a free download or whatever it is, a free checklist that's obviously highly relevant. They watch a 10 to 20 minute long video. Try to keep this on a shorter side these days. You then direct them to a calendar page, get them on a call, and you sell them typically you want to start with a one-to-one program. Always start one-to-one, where it's like a $500 thing to a $4,000 thing. Obviously, you don't charge $4,000 straight up front, but it eventually gets up to that price. I did the same thing. Everybody does the same thing. It's, call to get qualified leads. You get on that call, and you sell them a $500 one-to-one program. And just like that, you only need 20 clients to get to 10 grand a month. See what I'm trying to say? Then eventually, after about 5 to 10 actual testimonials that you get, you got 2 options. You can either hire a sales rep, so you don't need to take these calls anymore, or you can turn this page here, your calendar page, into a checkout page. And the funnel stays the same. 2 to 3 YouTube videos a week. Do not stop this. This is the bit. This is your traffic source. Send them to a simple landing page where they opt in. to get your free training plus a free lead magnet, free resource. They watch a VSL that does the selling for you. They land on your checkout page and you sell them a $500 to $1,000 info product. Some people even sell a $1,000 to $2,000 group coaching program right off of a checkout page. It's insane. I wouldn't recommend that until you're very, very established. But yeah, people are actually doing that right now, quite literally. And then what you can do is you only really need 10 to 20-ish customers / clients a month to get to 10 grand a month. It's insane. It's insane. This is what I did. I literally changed my calendar page just to a checkout page and dropped my price from one-to-one coaching to a $500 info product, which was agency reputation. And boom, just like that, I converted 2.238% of people. So that's how you go about doing that. And by the way, I'm going to make a whole video on this up and coming. The next video I do is going to be this. I didn't have this bit, by the way. This is like the emails and the setting. I didn't have this. This is something new. So you can kind of delete this out of there if you want to. But this is the funnel. So that being said, that's how I would build a 10K per month business using YouTube. You've got to sell your own product. I recommend starting with one-to-one, $500, get 20 customers. How did you get 20 customers? Post a minimum of 3 times a week, a minimum. Simple landing page. Get them to opt in by incentivizing them to get something for free. Get them on a call and you sell them a one-to-one style coaching program around your thing, or a $1,000 to $2,000 service. This works for agencies as well. Just had a student tell me he hit 150 grand in profit with his agency, right? And he only has 150, less than 200 subscribers on YouTube. And he uses it just to nurture leads. He doesn't use it to go viral. He just uses it to nurture leads. He uses Instagram to pass leads over onto YouTube. They watch a long form content. They soak up that content on YouTube. Hit that 7-hour rule. Where is it? The 7-hour rule. They hit the 7-hour rule on YouTube. Jump on a call and boom, he closed them because they won. I'll leave his testimonial somewhere on the screen here.
Yo, my name is Matthias, and I want to give a huge shout out to Montel Gordon and his program, YouTube Transmutation. Because using this system, I was able to make over $150,000 online profit with my email marketing agency. And I have less than 3,000 followers on Instagram and less than 150 subs on YouTube. So using YouTube and Instagram has gotten all my leads for my agency. So I know the system works because it worked for me. And I know you could sell, coaching, info, or like me, if you have an agency or you sell a service, it works. Because people get on a sales call with me now, they already know what I do, they already know who I work with, and they're like, all right, how much do I gotta pay you to start working? I don't really need to sell them on that much. And they're willing to pay even more money because they already trust me and they already know me. And they already know what I do and my results. So I know the system works because, making the right type of content for the right type of person you want to sell to is literally the key. And that's why I wanted to give you this shout out, because I know this system can change a lot of people's lives and businesses. So yeah.
You get the point. This is how I would build a 10K per month business if I was only focusing on one platform. That would be YouTube. And I stick to this forever until I made $1 million like I did. That being said, I'll see you in the next video. Make sure you check out the free training below. If you got any questions as well, DM me on Instagram. And make sure you check out this other video here as well, if you have time, which is about how I basically made $500,000 with a single digital product through YouTube. Long story short. Go check it out. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.